Let's bring in our political panel, and joining me is former Liberal Minister, now Principal at Z Advisory, Zed Seselja, and former Labor Advisor, now with Premier State, Darrin Barnett. Darrin, start with you. A bit under a week on from the budget. Poll not overwhelming in a positive sense for the government, but they're really targeting this message on Middle Australia today. Clearly that's been showing up in the focus groups, the fact that Middle Australia felt let down by the budget.
Look, I'm not sure whether they feel let down, but certainly it wasn't the bag of goodies that people got during the Howard years, but equally it wasn't the horror show of the 2014 budget either. So I think it was a steady as she goes kind of budget, and the response mirrors that there was some assistance for people, more at that sort of the bottom end socioeconomically, a little bit in the middle. But, that we've got to now get ready for the rest of this year and next year. There's probably going to be an election by the end of next year. So we'll start getting into more poll-driven territory. But this was a careful and calibrated budget to deliver the surplus, give $14.6 billion back in terms of help for energy and other costs in the cost of living. From here, we're now going to hit that campaign mode and we see how we go.
Now, Zed Seselja, there might be, and I know there are many economists who say that this was inflationary, others say it wasn't inflationary. But from a political sense, the government had to do something amid a cost of living crisis. They had to show that empathy, surely.
Well, I think they've missed the mark. I've seen a number of budgets come and go, and governments always convince themselves in the lead up, in this sort of bubble and on the night, that they've really hit it, and often it does miss the mark, and I think this one has missed the mark as Australians have woken up to the fact that everything's going up, the cost of everything's going up, their interest rates are going up. I think where people are really going to start to feel it is in these next couple of months, where this mortgage cliff will be happening. So people's interest rates are going up, whether the Reserve Bank raises rates or not. Hundreds of thousands of families will see their interest rates go up as a result of going off fixed interest. So Middle Australia, I think, is feeling it. I think often the press gallery misses that here in Parliament House, but I think when you talk to families around the country, I think what they would be seeing is they're about to be paying a lot more on their mortgages at the same time as a lot of costs are going up, and I don't think the government managed to convince most of those, or many of those, that there's enough in this budget to help with that.
Darrin Barnett, that's it's the number one political issue, is what Zed touched on, that mortgage pain. Up until now, and this budget, I think it's fair to say people weren't laying the blame at the feet of the government. And the question now beyond the budget is, will that remain the case?
I'm not sure that people are putting the blame for rising rates at the feet of the government. I think it's interesting. It's a live question as to whether the budget was inflationary or not. If inflation spikes or goes further up, there might be some questions that are difficult to answer, but in the end it's a balancing act. That's what the budget is, and I think people so far have given the benefit of the doubt, but we'll just have to wait and see what the next couple of months hold.